Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Alex Bonilla.
Greetings from quarantine.
Yes, from social distanced quarantine, however you want to call that. We are in the beginnings of the coronavirus-inspired social distance, and we are here to give you some ideas on what animated TV shows and movies you might want to watch while you are seeing no other people and presumably have a lot more time to watch a bunch of shows and movies. A perfect time to catch up on many of the shows we normally talk about on this podcast, which is overly animated at overlyanimated.com, or just old stuff or things that you might want to rewatch. Just seems like a good time to give a quick list of things that just give you some ideas, inspiration for your social distance binge. I don't know if that's a term, but yeah, we're all staying inside to avoid giving this virus to other people. That's the social distancing, or hopefully you don't have it yourself, which would be the quarantining, right? But regardless, a lot of good shows to pass the time here, Alex. Yeah, have you how much binging have you done thus far?
Well, I'll be a bad. Despite the fact that we're on an animation podcast, I have not binged any animation in this time.
Well, the thing is, we're always watching the animated shows, right? So, like, maybe when we have more time,
Sure.
we binge live action stuff we're behind on.
Yeah, and like today, I'm going to recommend shows that I have binged in the past, of course. But like right now, I'm like in the middle of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia binge. But like, so there's a lot of different shows. But if you're looking for animation specific recommendations, I've got some here, and I'm sure you do too, Dylan.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I've watched some movies, which I'll hit on when we talk about stuff. Haven't started a new series yet, but I assume I'll be soon getting into that. So yeah, Alex, what are you looking for when you're thinking of something to binge?
So, especially when it's when you're doing a binge, not because like it's a new show, but more like there's a particular mood, or you're stuck at home for whatever reason. Like let's say like it's raining a long time or whatever. The kind of binges that I gravitate to are like comfy shows that are lean towards comedy, where I don't have to pay 100% attention to it. But like every time that I like check in, I'm having a good time with it. I can like do other stuff while I'm watching it, so I can like be on the computer and like still pay enough attention to the show to get it. It's like those, because shows like Steven Universe, She-Ra, shows that I really like, but I need to dedicate a lot of attention to it. And also when they deal with heavier topics, it's harder for me to binge them because I need a bit of space in between episodes to like deal with the ideas that they're handling. So at least for me, when I think of binges I enjoy, I mean, for like right now, I'm like in the middle of It's Always Sunny, and that's dumb comedy. And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards when I look for a binge, just something that's easy to digest, and I can move on to the next episode all the time without too much to digest, or too much heavy topics to weigh on my head. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think that's fair, but I also think like there's many. This has shown me there's many types of binges here, because what I would think when I think of this question is like, for me it's something I get really absorbed into. Like, I guess that's the other side, is like if I really want to be pulled into a thing. So I like. I mean, if I have a lot of time, or if I'm like willing to get into something like a long like journey, like you want to go on like a new show, I think that's like a really ideal type of binge. And I'll have some of those recommendations at the end, although we might be focusing on shorter things, because the other side is like don't always have the most attention span, so a shorter series is sometimes preferable for me as well. Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. And it's also like I will say, potentially have a lot of time here to binge stuff. We all do. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to say like watch all of Steven Universe, but that's probably not the type of thing we're going to focus on, because that's like such a big commitment. Like, it's a lot easier to recommend to someone a show that has like 1 or 2 seasons, so that you know, if they reach the end, they're like, okay. If they weren't too into it, it wasn't too much time passed. I don't know. I have more of those types of shows on my list. I would say so shorter series. Not all like light watches though, but I think a variation, because I think some people might like lighter stuff in it, and some people might want to be more absorbed, and I think it just might depend what mood you're in as well. So here's 3 criteria I listed for types of things we might be looking to recommend, but it doesn't have to be these things. Ideally something easy to access, Netflix or some other popular streaming service, so that we recommend if you recommend something to a friend, they usually have access to watching it. The second thing would be an easy binge, which could mean a lot of things, but I'm mostly looking at not super long of a commitment, I would say. This could also be lighter fare. And then the third thing would be, hopefully something that you might not have seen already, which I will say, if you're not someone that watches a ton of like Western animated shows, then we probably have our pick of the litter, because it's not like people that are listening to all the types of things we talk about, we're probably going to repeat a lot of stuff. But if you're talking to your friend that doesn't watch too many animated shows, then I think most things are going to be pretty safe to recommend.
I'll just say with regards to the easy binges, like one thing that's briefly passed my mind is like, is now the time to like try out The Simpsons and just see like how far I can get in? But like the thing that's always daunted me is just like how many episodes of that show there are. So like part of me is intellectually interested in like just trying it out and like seeing peak Simpsons according to some people, but that's not like what I would consider an easy binge, even if it's something as popular as that.
No, don't go and watch all of The Simpsons. There's no reason to do that.
I mean, even like whatever they say, like the first 9 seasons or whatever, that's still a lot.
Yeah, I still don't do it. We're past that point. Like, The Simpsons is good, but we've moved on, in my opinion. If you're thinking of like super long animated shows, there's not a ton of them, right? Like, if I would say like Steven Universe is probably or Adventure Time is like, if you've been putting off watching one of those
Adventure
shows.
Time is a real tough bit. I mean, you can binge it, like especially like the early seasons. I mean, those are not they're pretty episodic, and it changes tone in the middle. So like you can binge it, but I think it'd be a weird experience to try going all the way through in one go.
Yeah, the Adventure Time would be one of the longer ones. So unless you want to put in that type of, I mean, now's the time maybe to watch one of those types of shows, but you could also watch 20 shorter shows instead, I would say. But obviously those are great ones, and I have some of those types of things at the end. If you've never watched this, now's the time. So we'll get to those types at the end. But let's get into the recommendations. So we're gonna go back and forth. We could say a show or a movie, could be Western, could be anime, whatever. And we'll just talk about who it appeals to, why you might want to watch it, that sort of thing. I'll start off to give a sense of what we're doing, because I feel like I have one really easy top of the board recommendation, fits all our criteria, perfect number one recommendation to give to people right now. And that is Hbo and the Age of Wonder Beasts.
Okay.
Hbo came out this year, I believe in January. It's on Netflix. It's 10 episodes, one season. There will be another season at some point this year, but just 10 episodes for now. I think the show has a wide appeal. It's a kid's show in quotes, but I think that if you're maybe somewhat averse to childish types of shows, I think the show is pretty mature and has an appeal way beyond children. You can watch it with your kids though. It's got like an incredible world. We talked about it on this podcast and we loved it. And it's got incredible animation and sound, great characters. I think it's a pretty easy 10 episode binge, but one that can be really engrossing as well. And I think if you want to like get caught up on what I would say is one of the top shows of very recent, kind of standout Western animated shows, I think Hbo is an easy place to go to. So that's on Netflix right now if you want to check Hbo out.
Kipo is a very fun show to binge through, and it is a short commitment.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I just love the colors of that show. Like every time it switches to a new spot, like it's a whole different palette.
I will
to
say
work with.
maybe Kipo too close to home because it's an apocalypse type show. So maybe that's not what you're looking for right now.
Nah, that you gotta sink into it, man. Like, look.
On the other hand, it's like a whimsical apocalypse, not like what
this is like
right
the
now.
best case scenario if we turn it to like keep it with giant
That show
bunnies.
could be pretty dark. I don't think that's best case scenario for humans, but that's okay. Okay, what you got, Alex?
Worst case scenario for post-apocalyptic would be like Castlevania, right? Like everything's abandoned, you got demons all over the place. I would suggest Castlevania as a bingeable show, also on Netflix. There, we've got 3 seasons. Although the first season is just 4 episodes, second season is 8, and I think the third season is 10 or 12. But so, anyways, it's not as long as 3 seasons would imply to you. And I just think that it has a very unique atmosphere. It's definitely an adult show. There's lots of violence, lots of blood. Especially season 3, we get into more sexual stuff. But I think that the chemistry of the main characters is really good, especially the further along you get in getting to know Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard. I think it has, especially in seasons 1 and 2, it does a real good job with characterizing the main villain, Dracula. And also, like, it gets into like themes that are surface level enough that you don't need to like dig too deep into them with regards to like religion and society. But so it's there. It's easy enough to figure out like what they're aiming for, and the action scenes are just real fun. And there's a dry humor throughout the show that keeps it from getting too bogged down. So I enjoyed Castlevania a lot. And I definitely think that it's a bingeable show. And given the fact that like as much as people like overhype the violence of the show, there are long stretches without it where we like focus on characters. They kind of save that for the big episodes. So it's honestly easier of a binge than you would think. I would definitely suggest giving Castlevania a check.
Yeah, that was on my list. Definitely, that should be. If you're okay with gore, that should be near the top of your list. Not very many episodes. Some of the best action on TV today. That'd be my summary. Here's another recent Netflix kind of standout visual show, which is Glitch Techs, that came out recently. This is maybe a little bit more of if you're into video games, I'll say I think Glitch Techs will appeal to you. It's 9-10 episodes on Netflix now. There's going to be another group of a similar number coming out at some point. Really, really standout animation and colors again, like Kipo. It's got this really great video game vibe. If you're like into, if you've ever found video game slang appealing, I think you would like Glitch Techs. Got great characters. I think that's just a fun show. That would definitely be a contrast to the dark times of the stress of the current world. So I think Glitch Techs is if you're looking for lighter fare and a distinction from the world, then really into Glitch Techs. That's on Netflix too. 1 season so far. Definitely should check it out.
I think there are some people who, when they decide what to binge, they do get a bit worried about like how the show concludes. And I will say that that's a warning you kind of have to do with Glitch Techs. As from the outside, we know that the show got cut short very quickly, so there's not much after the existing 10 episodes as far as we know.
Regardless, these are shows that have not finished their airings yet. But yeah,
most of these are like still on their way, but like at least you like have the hope that they're gonna end like in a decent way.
We still hope Glitch Techs will end, but yeah, they potentially will not end its run. But support it, and then hopefully we'll get more episodes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next show that I would recommend. Total opposite vibe from Castlevania. Let's go to Amphibia. Frog apocalyptics. I mean, what if the apocalypse was?
I don't think
turned
either of the
frogs?
shows you recommended are not apocalypse shows.
I mean, no, but at the same time, like if our world turned into that, that would be kind of like an apocalypse. But anyways, Amphibia is a very fun, happy show. The main character Anne is very charming from as you get into the series. This one is full on comedy. So get ready for jokes every minute or so. But I think that compared to other joke per minute shows, that this one has a lot more landings. Definitely takes advantage of the frog environment. Does some creative work with that, and it eventually gets to a place where you begin to have emotional investments in the characters as well. It's never that mean spirited. It's very a similar vibe to Hbo and Glitch Text in that it's very colorful as well. I mean, this is something you'd find on Disney Plus, not in Netflix, but Disney Plus has gained popularity as a streaming service. So yeah, I would definitely advise to give Amphibia a check out. Warning that it seems that many people who try to binge it get a bit disillusioned after the first 5 episodes or so, but I would definitely recommend pushing through to that because the people who I know who have loved the show say that like once you get past that initial intro is when you really start getting into the meat of the show in terms of quality. So Amphibia is definitely one that I want to recommend to people because it's definitely a show that I don't think gets as much credit as it should.
Nice. Yeah, Disney Plus. I'm a little hesitant to say Disney shows because it's like, is it on Disney now? Is it on Disney Plus? Amphibia is on probably after it finishes the season, it goes on to the Disney Plus.
Yeah, I know Amphibia is on Disney Plus, and even if it's not Disney shows that aren't on Disney Plus, they'll get there eventually.
They'll get there. Yeah, we know eventually it'll be there. That's true. Yeah, because I'm like Owl House, not there yet, I believe.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I won't say Owl House, but that's one that's airing right now. It's great. Check that out too. Amphibia, one I might give another go in this if given enough time here. We'll see. Let's go to an adult show for me. Undone is on Amazon Prime streaming. If you've heard us, in the last towards like our end of year coverage, you've heard me rave about Undone. Extremely distinctive, visually appealing, very like psychological show. Not like anything else you'll see on TV. It's rotoscoped fully, looks really distinctive. Has just really distinctive content. I believe it's 8 episodes, 30 minutes each. It's an adult show, and you have to be okay with kind of like psychological stuff that could be a little bit hard, but this is one to check out, and one of the ones you want to pay attention to though, because a lot there in Undone, and if you have Amazon Prime, I'd say this is like for me definitely a must watch.
Yeah, I would say Undone definitely deals with some heavier subject matter, and if you're prepared to take that in, then Undone is one of the best animated shows out there right now, and it's going for some ambitious messaging. I will say that in this social distancing world, if you're having elevated anxiety, I'm not sure that show will necessarily help that cause. But if you're in a mentally stable place and are willing to like take in just some like well crafted stuff, then Undone for sure is one that you should try out.
Yeah, it's a good warning. Similar will apply to Bojack if we mention that at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, binging Bojack.
Okay, go ahead. I assume you weren't going to say Bojack.
No, I was not. So same category. Like it's just a long show, lots of heavy stuff. That's not what I personally want to binge. But one that's sort of heavy, but it's short at least, is Infinity Train. Probably more attention given to that than the shows we mentioned so far. But I think the fact that it is a miniseries, it's pretty recent. It's got, if you haven't watched Infinity Train so far, then the element of mystery will definitely be something that appeals to you. I think that it executes that very well in season 1, and even into season 2. Like it does a bit more focus on the characters now once the mystery has been resolved in season 1. But like it's still does an excellent job with that and the different topics it carries too. It sprinkles in jokes here and there. It's definitely got some interesting animation choices, but the fact mainly I binge it because like it's a story that goes like pretty straightforward. It's cut up into two halves. You got season 1 and season 2, so it's pretty easy to follow in that respect. And yeah, this is like it. This is a bit of a darker, with like in terms of color, like a darker theme. So if you wanted to contrast the very bright palettes of shows that we've recommended so far, Infinity Train is a good way to counteract that, and I think it does a really good job with it. So, Infinity Train, if you haven't tried it out yet, definitely this is now the time to catch up with it and see what people were raving about earlier.
Yeah, it might have trouble finding it. Cartoon Network app. On demand maybe, but I don't believe it's on a streaming service yet. 20x 11 minutes, 20 episodes 11 minutes, the absolute must watch. Like, come on, watch Infinity Train. If you have access to one of these things, or if not, you could find a way. Speaking of streaming services hard to find, so I want to give a HBO Max corner here because it's not out yet, but it might be while we're still in social distance. It's coming out in May. I really wish HBO Max was out now because it will contain the Studio Ghibli movies for the United States, which would be my top recommendation if they were available on a streaming service yet. I will say the Studio Ghibli movies are on Netflix outside of the US, Canada, and Japan. I don't know if they're there yet. But once HBO Max out, you might be listening to this in May or later, so you might be able to get access to HBO Max, maybe a free trial or something. Just binge all the Miyazaki movies, all of the Studio Ghibli movies in general, if you have not seen them. I know this is a basic recommendation, but most people, I think, have not seen all of the Ghibli movies. Just go watch them all. Perfect time. They're all amazing. And then speaking of HBO Max that's not my real one. The other one would be, Genlock will be on HBO Max, when it eventually comes out. For now, it is on, Rooster Teeth first and VRV, hopefully still. I'm not sure. But Genlock is a, more adult show, a, mech, action anime influenced, type show. It's, shockingly great. Is what we've all determined with Genlock. This is one, was nominated for our best show, last year, and it deserves it. It's, got solid characters, a solid plot, just excellent action sequences, excellent themes, excellent animation. If you're into more adult action fare, Genlock's gotta be a must watch. Hopefully you have one of those ways to watch it. If not, it'll be out on HBO Max, and then, season 2 will be on there, I think, coming out. Genlock would be one of my top picks to watch during this period.
I'll just second your comments on the Ghibli collection because that's the kind of the main reason that I still have that whole, like, I really do one day want to do the whole binge, but it's not been in an easy to access place. And the times that I have watched the movies, that like every time I'm like blown away by the new one that I've seen, even if it's one like really old, like
2 months, not too left to wait.
Yeah. Just gotta hold on a little bit longer to have them in like decent quality. But so I definitely think that once that comes out, that has to be a high priority binge for any animation fan, given that's kind of like the peak of theatrical animation for many people.
Yes.
So now with my next recommendation, which one do I want to bring up next? One show that we don't really talk about on this podcast, but like I found a very comfortable binge was We Bare Bears, which is available on Hulu. I believe it's also available on Netflix in certain spots, or maybe.
Why is it also on Netflix? I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be both, but I think maybe
Cartoon
Netflix
Network
only
rights
has
are
like
weird
one.
right now.
Yeah, but I believe the full show is on Hulu.
Okay.
But in any case, We Bare Bears is, your classic like three dudes hanging out in the city, a sitcom, but with bears. It's a very grounded show. It's just like treating the bears like regular people. They do things like being weebs and finding new jobs and
they
like
do things
navigating
like
the subway system.
Yeah, that's one.
that's a thing that millennials do
It's
now. It hasn't
relatable
been
to our
covered in
audience,
television until now. Yeah. So I think that if you just like want something very grounded, and again, like something that's that's funny enough when you check in, but you don't feel the pressure to have your attention on it 100%. We Bare Bears is perfect for that. It also like there's not really that much in the way of continuity. So if you feel like bouncing around, that's also something you can do. But like it's consistently funny. I think that all the characters have their quirks that make them likable. There's not even like side characters later on end up getting a little bit extra, like the koala. So yeah, we Bare Bears, like it's a show that doesn't really get discussed because there's not like much deep themes to talk about, but it's still a fun show to watch. And I believe there's 4 seasons of it right now, maybe 5, but there's a lot to get through there, and you can try that out from wherever. But it's definitely a fun watch if that's something you want to give a try.
Nice. Why Infinity Train not on Hulu though, right? Like why? Like okay, I didn't.
It's not.
Is it? I don't know. Look for that during this.
I've not checked.
I feel like
Steven
it's
Universe
not.
is on Hulu.
Okay,
but,
well, maybe it is, and we're wrong. Okay. Yeah. Well, I hear people like Ice Bear. That's my comments on.
Ice Bear is the fan favorite. I think Panda has a decent fandom too because he is the nerdiest. So
yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of weebs, I have an anime section. So let me give you. I looked at Netflix. Here are some animes that are currently on Netflix in the United States that I highly recommend. So, Dylan's Netflix anime corner on Netflix. K-On! Is on Netflix right now, and we are all blessed because of it, because it is the greatest show ever, as we all know. No, it's just the
I
peak
think I lasted like 3 episodes.
Yeah, so if you can not be bored by a show, then check out K-On! Because it's extremely boring, but it's perfect light fare. If you want the exact opposite of any dark times, K-On! Is incredibly light, amazing characters, no plot, just fun interactions between these great characters. Very light and fluffy, etc. Some good music in it. One of my favorite animes ever. That's on Netflix now. All the Kyoto Animation, I think, animes are on Netflix, which gives a lot of excellent choices, as that's one of the best studios. Clanad, also by them, was also one of my all-time favorite animes. That's on Netflix now. It's a great slice of life. Another one more exciting than K-On! Stay tuned for the after story, which is incredibly sad. And so if you want to cry, watch binge Clanad and then watch the after story. Here's one that I've not even really seen, but I thought it was appropriate for our current times, which is Cells at Work. That's on Netflix now. That's a show about like white blood cells and stuff fighting off infections. That seems appropriate for what's going on right now. If you want to cheer on your whatever system, that's I think we watched the first episode of that unknowingly at some point, but it seems fun. Cells at Work. Actually, what I think is probably the best anime of the modern era, Poya Magi Madoka Magica. Madoka is on Netflix now, in the US at least. One season, then there's like movies and stuff, but watch the season of Madoka. It's incredible, very dark stuff. It's kind of a spoiler, but that would be the content warning. Also, and lastly on Netflix, Little Witch Academia is I think like 26 episodes. More lighter fare, just like cool magic stuff, magic school. If you like that type of thing, Little Witch Academia is a cool one to check out as well. That's it.
I got Hulu and they had Cowboy Bebop, which I know is an important anime. So that is one binge I did do relatively recently. I'm not sure I would recommend it as a binge just because it doesn't feel like that kind of show to binge, but it's there and I know it's historically important. So Hulu has anime too, guys.
I didn't know that they also had anime. Wow, exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Actual show I did prepare to talk about. Hilda is a show that you should check out. It's this is if you want cozy a show that's called cozy. Hilda is it like it's just out in the countryside, small city. Everyone knows each other. Whimsical, magical creatures, and Hilda herself is very nice in all respects. And I think that the stronger episodes are in the first half, but like other people like enjoy it all the way through. But in general, Hilda just feels like the kind of show that you'd watch while like having a cup of hot tea by your side. So Hilda is a show Hilda's a show I've recommended to people who want something to binge while they're like sick or under the weather. So that especially feels relevant now. And I think it's like 10 episodes as well. So it's also like a relatively short investment. I think season 2 is coming next year or later this year. I forget.
In the fall.
But in the fall, okay. But yeah, so right now you've only got the one season. But if you want a short commitment, but something to get you in a particular mood, then Hilda will definitely do that. It'll definitely work to calm you down.
Yeah, Hilda's great. Some of the best animation visually on TV, and yeah, that's on Netflix too. Another short binge. Definitely was on my list as well. Another short Netflix binge you can do with a season coming out soon. The Hollow. This is one less people have seen, so I think it's an interesting recommendation. The Hollow is three kids wind up in a mysterious place, and it's a big mystery that unravels throughout the season. I think it's 10 episodes or around there, season 1. Season 2 is finally coming out in May. It's been a while, and The Hollow, it's just if you're looking for like a mystery experience that culminates in a reveal in the finale, I think The Hollow is like a great thing to check out. I wasn't super blown away by it, but like it's solid, and then it's got a crazy reveal at the end, which you might hate it, you might love it. I love how big it is. And it just makes me really look forward to the next season. So, if you want that mystery experience, I think The Hollow is a solid way to go on Netflix. One season right now.
Okay. I'll go to a movie. Spider-Verse is on Netflix. Please watch it. Yeah. Yep. It's really good. It bounces around with a bunch of different characters. It's got the wildest animation style that you will see in a theatrical release, and it's available in an easy to access place, so you have no excuse to not put it on. And also, like the music selection is amazing. It's got great diversity as well. When it decides to lean into comedy, it does that pretty well. Nicolas Cage voices a character. What more do you want? So
that's
Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He is an important piece to making everyone plays the different parts in there, but he elevates it. Okay? So Into the Spider-Verse, please watch.
Yeah, definitely watch.
If you need a movie, that would be like one of my first thoughts.
That's if you want to watch a movie, just go watch Spider-Verse. Yeah, top of the list. That being said, here's 3 other movies also on Netflix. If you're a Pokemon fan, they're the 3 most recent Pokemon theatrical releases are on Netflix now. I will say they're all pretty childish in quotes. So, if you're looking for more serious fare, this probably isn't where you want to go. But the recent release, the Mewtwo Strikes Back, remake, in 3D, CGI style, I just watched that recently. Solid, definitely just the same thing as the original movie, but I actually found it to be really, some people were turned off by the animation. I thought it was like, that's the strongest part of it. It ends up being is how they execute with the animation in it. Pretty visually stunning movie. And then, that's more of like a remake. The two, they rebooted the movie continuity and, starting with I Choose You, and then The Power of Us. So those are the other 2. Those are the 2 most recent in like the canon of the Pokemon movies, and I find them to be really solid. If you're looking for like a light, fun Pokemon movie, I would watch those 2, and then you're ready to continue the Pokemon journey as the rebooted Ash continuity continues in the Pokemon movie universe. All on Netflix, 90 minutes. There you go, each.
There are diverging Pokemon canons. Wow.
I don't know if I'd say diverging, but something like that.
um, let's hear. I feel like I'm gonna steal one that you had really prepared, but like I'm starting to run out. So, Ali mentioned that I should bring up Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, and in connection of the movie Tangled itself, I feel like that combination is a pretty good binge recommendation. Tangled is just like one of the few modern Disney movies that I like really love for whatever reason. And it's got a message of someone wanting to live in Corona in the world of coronavirus.
Yeah, okay, let's sit on this for a second. So
Okay.
I watched Tangled yesterday, and I was struck by how the first song in this movie is all about Rapunzel social distancing herself, and other people have made this observation. She's lived a social distancing life, and she has tips on what you can do while you're social distancing in that podcast. Much in the first song, and then the thing is called Corona. I don't think they say it in the movie, or maybe they do, but the city. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, I tried binging the first season. I kind of fell off at the end, but I know people who really like that show, and even from like the first season, you can tell like it's just a very light show. You know, it's if you like the characters from Tangled, then you're gonna go a decent way with Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. Cassandra is a very welcome addition to the cast, and as I hear tell, later seasons do get a bit more dramatic with the stories, so you'll have that to look forward to as well. So Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure from Ali, and I got a quick recommendation from Michelle saying anime Princess Tutu. It's beautifully crafted, has real emotional depth, and some extremely satisfying character arcs, plus lots of nice music. And with that, I'm out of recommendations, guys.
Okay, thank you for bringing in other people's recommendations as well. Yes. Yeah, Rapunzel's that's a few seasons worth of binge. I think it's probably on Disney Plus or will be. But that's a possibility for me at some point soon, for sure. Because I did learn. I watched Tangled recently. Yesterday I liked it.
And like it ends in like such a way that you kind of want to see like what happens after. Like it ends just with like Rapunzel hugging the parents, and it's like, okay, well, what now, right?
Yeah. Although I want more of Mom, and that didn't work out, but she's not in the show. But that would be my guess. Rewatched Tangled, I should say, and then rewatched Moana recently too. And those are just two I hadn't seen since around when they came out, so I thought I made that a priority. Moana is also great. Tangled's great. So one of the things on my list is all the Disney princess movies on Disney Plus. So a lot of people have the Disney Plus. Just watch all the Disney princess ones. I especially like all the recent ones. I like 100% approval rating for me. Every single recent Disney princess movie, all good. So I would recommend all of them. And then recently Frozen 2 added to Disney Plus as well early. So watch Frozen 2. I wanna go back and watch Princess and the Frog. I think I haven't seen that one in forever too. So those are some things I'm gonna check out as well. So Alex sets. Let me.
Oh wait, there's one thing I recall because we were like talking about movies. On Hulu is The Prince of Egypt, which is a plague-related movie, but also like it's just really good. Like, I mean, there's some people who I realize like if you're in a religious background, you may have seen it way too much as a kid. But if you've had a while since watching it, or you've just never watched it, it's definitely worth a try. Like, I do think that it's one of DreamWorks like early classics. The music is really good. I mean, you got the Plague song, you got the opening song, the Let My People Go. So there's a lot of strong musical performances in there, and just the drama they're able to whip up between Moses and Ramses, like the brotherly drama that always works on me. So The Prince of Egypt, if you haven't given that a try in a while, it's kind of relevant to today because disease, but also like it's really good. So give it a try.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. This is actually Prince. So like, yeah, I watched Prince of Egypt a million times growing up in Hebrew school, but like then you go back and rewatch it. Like this is actually one of the best animated movies ever made. Like it's really good. So I agree with that. If you haven't seen it in a while, check that out. Okay, quick hits. Tuca and Birdie on Netflix. Is
Yeah.
one season, unfortunately, because there won't be more. If you want a zany, female-oriented adult comedy, like I mean, there's basically none of those except this show, but it's really great. And come for like the zaniness, stay for like the incredible deep drama that is comes about towards the end of the season, especially in the second to last episode. That's definitely one to check out if you've not seen it yet. I think most people have heard of it probably through the Save Tuca and Birdie and end of year lists and stuff. And if you haven't actually checked it out, I definitely would.
Well, also just it keeps getting buried on Netflix, even for like people who are looking for it. So like, please keep up the word of mouth for Tuca and Birdie as long as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're saving it at this point, but
no, we're
at
not,
least to keep
just
it
to
visible,
get people
sure.
aware that it exists.
Yeah,
because it's a good show, and you're right that's definitely a bingeable show for sure.
Yeah. Also on Netflix, Carmen Sandiego. Not one I have watched. I watched like the first episode or something, but people really like the show. 2 seasons, I think, and the animation is really stand out in the show. So that's I would say a little bit more of a childish type show, but also has compelling like characters and plot as well.
They've got that interactive special out right now.
Did it come out, the interactive special?
Yep, I'm pretty sure that's out right now.
When's our interactive podcast on that?
Okay. Well, it's like if you picked this, then press fast forward 5 minutes to get that one.
Should we? Yeah. Let's start workshopping that. I thought of this one when you said like a really like light and fun thing to binge. Summer Camp Island. I think that's like the Summer Camp Island is my personal favorite like light and like easy to watch show. Like it's just I just find the show really enjoyable and cozy, and I not sure at Cartoon Network app how you'd watch it, but it will be on HBO Max when that does come out. But if you have access to Cartoon Network app or on demand or something, it's Summer Camp Island. And then wanted to say, if you've not seen Avatar and Korra, now's the time to watch them. Avatar,
okay, but where do I watch those?
I don't know
exactly.
So fair point.
Like I really want to rewatch Avatar at some point. Like it's been a while, but it's a Ghibli problem. Like good stuff, but it's hard to find them in a decent quality in a reliable place. But yes, agreed. Like if you've got access to those, please watch.
You probably have a friend that has the DVDs or something. But if you have a DVD player, which I'm not sure you do, but I think they'll be on Netflix at some point, right? Like, I mean, if they're coming out with the live action Avatar, they got to put regular Avatar on Netflix, I assume. Some countries have Avatar on Netflix, I'll say, but not the US.
Yeah.
Okay, here's 4 if you want a long binge, here's what I'd recommend. First, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, because the series finale season is coming, just announced today in May. So it's going to be the 5th season, but 2 of those seasons are short. So it's going to be 52 episodes total once the last season comes out. She-Ra, great characters, compelling characters, compelling like plot and themes, I would say. We really like She-Ra here. That's a good journey to go on. This is a controversial choice, but if you want one of my favorite binges ever was Doctor Who. In college, I caught up on modern.
Hey, that's not animated.
So that's not my choice, but it's a preface.
Okay.
It's so that I like a sci-fi binge, a sci-fi journey. So that leads me to say, Voltron Legendary Defender is the closest to this. So Voltron is on Netflix. It's a lot of episodes. I think it would be a really immersive binge for the right person. I'm a Voltron defender, I guess, at this point, considering I think the show was actually really good in the middle.
Legendary.
A little bit to get through in the beginning, and then there's some really amazing episodes in the middle towards the end. So I would say if you want to go on like a really good sci-fi journey, Voltron's the way to go. Mentioned Bojack. If you haven't seen Bojack, Bojack's one of the best shows of all time, so that's a reason to watch it. Bojack Horseman, it just ended. It's on Netflix. Psychological warnings and stuff, but that's also the reason why you want to watch it, because it's deep and poignant and stuff. Yeah, I mean, you got to see Bojack. And then last, I have to throw it in there, even though there's no way to watch it. Mysticons. You've definitely not watched Mysticons, but it is one of my favorite shows of the past 10 years, and it's really good. There's nowhere to watch it. It might be on the Nick app. Who has that? But if you want to DM me, I'll have like the first 20 episodes or something. So go to DM me on Discord. That's all I can say. With the put Mysticons on Netflix. Come on. Okay. Anything else, Alex?
No. Well, with regards to the long binges, I'll just say my experience with binging Steven Universe is that it's a fun binge if you know what's coming. I feel like a person who has never watched Steven Universe would have a hard time getting through season 1 all the way through, just because like that is kind of the weakest season, like the least connected. But if you get past that, seasons 2 onward, I feel like are really bingeable, just because of like how like emotionally heavy it gets. So I mean, Steven Universe is my favorite show. I just kind of am on that fence on like whether it's a good binge necessarily, because like there is a decent chunk you need to get through to get to the nice stuff. But yeah, Steven Universe. I mean, if you haven't checked it out by now, please do. And that would be my main long binge.
Yeah, I think worth spending your time on. I agree. The main deterrent would be the first season, but also like season 4 or something. But there's like I think once you get into it, you can get into it. Yeah, there you go. There's our binge recommendations. That's a lot of stuff, a lot of material. You have no excuse not to be watching great animated content now during our extended coronavirus holiday. For some, I don't know. A lot of people still working, and at the very least, all this time on weekends and weekday nights that we're not seeing people, we're gonna watch all these cartoons, right, Alex? That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So, let us know. Put in the comments any other recommendations you have for people. You can do that as well. And we're Overly Animated at overlyanimated.com, where we talk about a bunch of these shows. Subscribe to us on iTunes, on YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated. We have a Discord talking about a lot of these shows at overlyanimated.com/Discord. And if you want to support us, you can do so at Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Michael, aka Mickey. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Beatrice, Hugh, Michael, and Needle. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to plug upcoming coverage as more of an isolated podcast, but Owl House, Miraculous Ladybug, Steven Universe, those are what's coming up for us. Check all those out at overlyanimated.com. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.